Now it's time for another Board Game Brawl preview with Nick Meanahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com.
Hey folks, my name is Nick, this is Board Game Brawl, and today we're going to be taking a look at a game expansion that is currently seeking funding on Kickstarter. That expansion is called Undercover, and is for the game Good Cop, Bad Cop from Overworld Games. Now, if you like what you see throughout the rest of this preview video, I'm going to encourage you to go to the official Kickstarter project page. You can follow the link up in the top corner of your screen, as well as down in the description section underneath this video. Those will take you to the Kickstarter page. You can find out more information and hopefully consider backing the project. In those same places, you can also find a link to my original review of Good Cop, Bad Cop. Now, this is a preview, so I'm not going to give you my final opinion of the expansion for Good Cop, Bad Cop, but you can follow my review link. You'll see that it is a positive review, and that, more importantly, for the purposes of this, you will see an overview of how the game actually plays from beginning to end. I'm just going to touch briefly on that in the overview here, but what I'm going to show you primarily is the new stuff that comes in this expansion. Basically, Undercover, which is the second expansion. The first one was called Bombers and Traders. This one adds a brand new type of card, the cover cards. You know, if you watch all these heist flicks and cop films, you know that everyone has like a cover and something that they're trying to keep intact lest they be discovered and their secret identity be revealed. So this integrates seamlessly with the base game to where you have your integrity cards, and now one of those cards will be covered up with a cover card, which gives you a different special ability depending on which side that you choose to use. Now, there's also different equipment cards that are in this set that you can integrate fully back into the main set simply by shuffling them together. And so it's an expansion that you do need the base game to play, but that integrates pretty seamlessly back into it. Let me go ahead and show you a lot of the details about this set with a prototype version. So what you see here is going to change in the final version, and then we're going to come back. I'll give you my final thoughts.
Good Cop, Bad Cop Undercover is the second expansion for Good Cop, Bad Cop. You must have the base game in order to play, and it can be integrated together with the first expansion, Bombers and Traders, which is also sold separately. By clicking on the link in the description of this video and also on the card in the top corner of your screen, you can watch my review of the base game of Good Cop, Bad Cop. But, as a recap, players play on teams. You're either an honest cop or a crooked cop, depending on the cards you're secretly dealt. And your goal is to win together with the rest of your team by taking out the kingpin or agent on the other team. But first, you need to figure out who is who. Now, the Undercover expansion includes brand new cover cards, of which you're going to have 8, 12 brand new equipment cards, which can be mixed in the original deck of equipment, and a new lead investigator card and plastic stand with the new Undercover rules on the other side of it. During the Kickstarter campaign, more cards may be unlocked, and you can pledge for the Deluxe Edition, which has an exclusive card and carrying pouch that will fit every Good Cop, Bad Cop card to date. First, let's go over the brand new type of card, covers, representing the hidden identity of your character beyond just being crooked or honest. At the beginning of the game, every player receives a random cover card. You'll place this on top of one of your 3 face-down integrity cards. At this time, you also choose which side of the cover card, passive or active, to leave face up. In this prototype copy of the game, I can't show you this because this was a late addition to the game, but here's how it works. The active side of the cover card will have a special ability that you must use your turn action to carry out. For example, the spy can investigate a player's integrity card, and then, if they have an equipment card, she can look at that as well. Whereas the bodyguard can force a player that's not aiming their gun at him to re-aim the gun somewhere else. The final versions of these cards will have a passive side, so they're double-sided. If you chose the passive ability instead, that ability will be on all the time, without requiring activation. An integrity card with a cover on it can't be investigated, but when another player investigates one of your integrity cards, the cover card must be moved to that newly investigated card. Also, if one of your integrity cards is flipped for any reason, whether it's from damage, taking a gun, taking an equipment, etc., and your cover card is on that card, the cover must immediately move to a face-down integrity card that you still have. If you don't have any face-down cards left, your cover is blown, and the cover card must go back in the box. There are also brand new equipment cards, like the Med Kit, which lets you heal someone of a wound, and the Inspection Gloves, which simulate a thorough search, we'll say, and force a player to either discard an equipment, discard their cover, or reveal every one of their face-down integrity cards to everyone before putting them back down face-down. That is the new Undercover expansion to Good Cop, Bad Cop. Let's get to my final thoughts.
Good Cop, Bad Cop Undercover is what is known as a modular expansion. It's not a very big expansion, so there's really only 2 modules in here, and that is the new equipment cards and also the new Undercover cards, of course, the whole focal point of the set. But it is interesting that you can choose which of the 2 you want to use depending on what the game situation is. You can say, oh, it's always good to have the new equipment, but maybe if I were to play with new players and I want to play with the Undercover stuff, I'll just leave that out for now. So it's very simple, and the fact that you can use both of them and integrate it into the main game with really adding very little complexity to the game as far as figuring out the rules and actually explaining it to people. That's pretty interesting that they were able to do that, but at the same time, while it doesn't add actual rules complexity, the subtleties and the nuances of the game are enhanced by adding it in there. And I think that ultimately what this expansion is going to be for is for people who really like Good Cop, Bad Cop and wants to just add more variety to it. So now you have a new thing that you can do and that you can focus on. You have another type of action that you can take, something that makes you very distinct and different from the other players, because in just Good Cop, Bad Cop, the Bombers and Traders expansion also added some very different elements to the game. But in just the base game of Good Cop, Bad Cop, really what set you apart was just, first off, of course, what your hidden role was, what team you were actually on. But other than that, the game pretty much played the same. It was just like, who gets what equipment? Well, now, with Undercover, and of course with the first expansion, you have these different options, these different elements. You feel very distinct and different from the other players, so long as you have your cover, of course. And it's very interesting playing the game in the beginning of how, what cards you choose to put your cover on top of, why did you make that decision. It's another decision you have to make in the game that adds more depth to the game at the same time. But again, and I'll stress this, it's a simple expansion. It really integrates pretty seamlessly and very easily and quickly as well. So if you love Good Cop, Bad Cop, this seems like a slam dunk for you to check out. And also, if you haven't tried out Good Cop, Bad Cop before, perhaps you saw it before, or maybe you watched my review of the base game and said, well, it doesn't seem like there's quite enough there for me personally, then you might still consider it, because this is going to add more to it. It's going to add that other extra layer of depth that might push it over into something that just works a little bit better for you. But of course, there are people, including myself, who liked the base game as it was and enjoyed it greatly. And again, if you're one of those people, you probably have already backed this, but for sure, if you needed just a little bit more information, I hope that I could be helpful with that in this overview. So like I said, more of the new Undercover cards give you a lot more options, and the new equipment cards just give you more variety of the equipment that's in the base game. And if that sounds like it's your thing, go to the official Kickstarter project page, find out more information. They have a deluxe version, as I mentioned in the overview, as well as new stretch goal cards being unlocked all the time. You can follow the link up in the top corner of your screen and then down in the description section of the video, as well as check out my review of Good Cop, Bad Cop, and hopefully you'll consider backing this project. That is Good Cop, Bad Cop Undercover from Overworld Games. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.